So before we get started today, I want to look at some earnings that is coming up next week. We have Alibaba, Walmart, Unity, Wayfair, and then we also have Rivian reporting earnings, Carvana, Etsy, some big names next week. On top of that, we do have some data coming out. Especially this will be the one that I'm watching, Michigan consumer sentiment, and a lot of people are watching that as well. So watch out for that. We also have, I think, FOMC minutes on that's on Wednesday, and Monday market is closed for Donald Trump Day, or I guess you can call that a President Day. Now, fear and greed index also sitting at 44, and we're trading at all-time highs. So I don't know how that is actually working out. On top of that, on Friday, VIX calls came in. You can see $6 million worth of calls came in. March, I think 18th expiration. So that's something to watch. It's a new development here in the market. Why, they would go for this massive, amount of calls on VIX. There is got to be something that we're missing, and it should be coming very soon, guys. So be careful going into next week. Welcome back, everybody, to the daily show where we discuss and do technical analysis on big mega cap stocks. So, before we get started, please smash that like button, and 100 plus likes on this video would be greatly appreciated, guys. And if you're new here, consider subscribing. Now, if you want to support the channel and get my daily trade ideas, my swing trade ideas, live trading, and all kinds of setups, definitely check out their link down below in the description for Patreon. And now let's get right into it, guys. On Apple stock, it's up 1.27%. So Apple just continue to move higher, and you can see one after another green candles, and pretty much it was trading over upper Bollinger Band, and then slight small pullback on Friday, nothing big, but still green on the day over 1%. So Apple definitely helping S&P 500 and Nasdaq 100 to push even higher. And there is a gap at 249.43, so I can see where things are going, but keep that in mind. There will be resistance here at 247. That's going to be a key line right here, guys. Over this candle, we will definitely get up to 250 to close this gap on top. From there, we might see a pullback. Now, going into Tuesday session, if there is a pullback that we see going into next week, we have only 4 trading days. There will be critical support right down here, guys. This red line, 50-day moving average at 240, and then 237. Underneath that level, this is going to be just a fake pump back up to the upside. You're going to see a quick reversal back down to 235, 232, and then 230. On Amazon, stock is down 0.73%, and you can see Amazon actually flagging right here, or wedging, whatever you want to call it. And the lower Bollinger Band sitting at almost 226. So one thing I see here, we do have unfinished business on top from earnings, this gap 236. So there is a chance if this thing can get over, I would say 230, it can hold there and possibly can make a move up to 233, 234 to retest previous highs right here, possibly gets over these moving averages, and then close that gap right here at 236. So there is a bit of an upside here, maybe $6 to $8 if you can catch it at the break of 230 up to this gap. I would not even wait till the gap. I would close my position right here at 234, 235. Now, to the downside, just because we have a flag or wedge does not mean that it always have to just break out to the upside. It can break down. Now, critical level to watch here, guys. 227.86, 50-day moving average. Underneath that level, watch out down here, 225, lower Bollinger Band, and if that gives up, you'll see a move down to 220, 216, and then this gap right here at 214 on Amazon. On Google, stock is down 0.5% on Friday, and Google was actually trying to get over 187. You can see 187.09. That is where this 5-day moving average is sitting, and we got uh, pretty much nothing on Friday, just sideways consolidation, and it's down 0.5%. So Google here, as long as you can stay over, I would say 184, and we can get over 187, this 5-day moving average, Google can definitely make a move up to 190, 193 to retest 50-day moving average. And we all know how that works. Upside gap always, always, almost always for last 2 years. If you look at last 2 years, especially big names and the market itself, like Nasdaq 100 or S&P 500, upside gaps we do not miss out. So there is a huge chance, it's not a guarantee, of course. There is a huge chance that we might go back up and fill this gap at 204 at some point. It's not going to happen, within a week or so, but there is a chance this thing come up and we'll close this gap at 204. Now to the downside, your key line in the sand would be 184. That gives up. This gap comes into play at 178 on Google. On AMD, it's up 1.15%. Now, a couple of things I want to show you guys on AMD. This was a bear flag. It came down. This was a bear flag, came down. This was a bear flag, came down. This was a bear flag, came down. And what do you see on my screen? Well, it's kind of forming another bear flag. Now, would this time be different? That's the question here on AMD. And maybe there is an 80% chance this thing does not go down from here and makes a move back up to the upside, because this thing gave up a lot of the gains from, what was it, 52-week high. If you look at my screen, 227.30 came down to almost 100, guys. So AMD, perfect buying opportunity, perfect if you're going long. But if you're looking to quickly get out, this is not something I would suggest, because it's on a downtrend, it's in bear market, right? So AMD, if this thing can actually going into next week stay over 111.64 5-day moving average and gets over 116, I would say, after filling this gap and staying over this 20-day moving average. If we can stay over 116 after filling this gap, you're going to see a move up to 118, and from there we can talk about more upside and possibly closing some of these gaps to the upside. Now, if this bear flag is going to play, then this support will give up and we will make a new low. And in that case, you'll know that 106 is out. That means what? AMD going down and making a new low. And this bear flag will likely to play out. So watch out if you're playing this. I mean, it's in this kind of an uptrend here. I would put a stop right here at 110. If you're actually just swing trading, maybe 2-3 weeks out, 110 breaks, exit, you can buy back later. But if you're long, I would just go and add more if this thing comes down well below 106. Tesla stock is absolutely flat on that day. Now, this is where people don't want to risk anything, and I get it, guys. Friday, I'm not even gonna show you guys, but we will talk about it. How some of these opportunities can make you a lot of money. Just putting a small amount, maybe $500-600. I know that could be a lot of money for some people, but also 500-600, maybe even 5-6 grand is pretty much nothing for some people, right? So, I called it pre-market before even opening that risk to reward ratio is huge here. If you have the money you want to risk, I'm going to risk, especially buying some puts. If this thing opens over 360 plus or 363, and if this thing is opening there, I'm going to get some puts, 345, 350. You choose your own strike. I'm gonna get it, and that's gonna be same day expiration, which is last Friday. And guess what? Where did we open? We opened at 360 plus, and immediately jumped up to 362. And as soon as I saw that, we know, you can see my line here, 362. That's a resistance right here. So you need chart, you need these analysis, especially people that are really serious about trading. Guess what? I shorted, guys, and this thing was huge. Same day expiration. We never went back up to 362. 347.50 came. So huge money on same day expiration. I made, I think it was like 360 or 70%, but I ended up getting out at 220 or something like that. I did not sell all at once. I was partially taking profit because it's same day expiration. You cannot hold all day. But at the end, I mean, this was really fantastic. So these type of trades are there also, and especially if you want more safer trades, more longer term trades, those are also there on my Patreon. And especially if you're serious about trading, only people that are serious. I'm not talking about window shopping, guys. Go in and get some calls or puts and make money one day, next day you lose it, and then, oh, I don't like it. That is not what I'm talking about. Only if you're serious and this is the profession you want to learn, then definitely check out my link down below in the description for my Patreon, and especially for Premium Plus membership, and it's worth every penny. Now, Tesla here, 362. That's going to be your resistance to watch for Tuesday. Over that, we might make a move up to 375. To the downside, now there will be support at 345, 5-day moving average. And if that gives up, this thing can come down again down to 330. And maybe this time we'll close this gap just under 325. On Meta, it's up another 1%. On Friday, another brand new all-time high, $740.91. That's the brand new all-time high on Friday and pretty much closed at a brand new all-time high. Now, I think what's going to happen, you're going to see a significant correction on some of these names. Another one that is running really high. It's not a mega cap, but it's running like a mega cap. PLTR. That garbage is about to go down at some point. At least it's gonna lose, half of its value. I mean, look at AMD. If I was saying the same thing about AMD when it was actually going up to 200 plus, people would say you're crazy. It's not gonna happen. But technicals, they always work. Maybe it's not going to be at the same time as, I'm saying in this video. It might take, a bit longer, but it's going to happen. People are going to take profit on a stock like Meta, on a stock like PLTR when things are extremely overbought. And I'm not even talking about like daily chart or weekly. I'm talking about monthly, quarterly. I mean, the RSI has no room to go, and the Bollinger Bands has no room to expand on those longer time frame. It has to come down at some point. So with that being said, Meta, yes, it can continue a little bit higher, because this Bollinger Band expanded up to 762. Would this be something I would recommend, or I would go in myself to chase? Absolutely not. Meta, I'm not even touching. I'm not doing anything. Just watching this thing moving up and going even higher pretty much for last 16 17 days, just going up and up and up, right? So Meta, now there will be support at 725, 5-day moving average, and the previous rejection should act as a support. Underneath that level, watch out for 709 and then flat 700, and then we can talk about 682. To the upside, the next target will be at 745 and then 762 on Meta. On Microsoft is down 0.5%, so something is going on. Microsoft also down 0.5%, and you can see since earnings, this thing just making lower lows. And not really, this thing has the potential where this thing can rally easily up to $10, $15 in just one day, maybe more than that. But it's not bouncing, not even $5, just going down every day. And now you can see this negative sloping 5-day moving average. Every time we come up to it, it actually gets a rejection. Now it's sitting at 410. So 410 will be a resistance to watch. Over that 413, and if we can get over 413, stay over 413, it's gonna look a lot better for more upside, and we'll talk about that once we get up to 413. Now, if this thing wants to come down a bit more, there will be support at 405 to 404 right here underneath that level 400, and you can see this lower Bollinger Band rapidly coming down. And if this thing wants to come down, it can possibly down to even 393 to 390. So, big names like Microsoft not really participating in that rally. And guess, who's doing all that? Well, Apple is one, and the other one is Nvidia, almost closing that gap from that gap down on that news from DeepSeek. So Netflix also going up on Friday, another 1.43% and another brand new all-time high, 1064. So this thing just exploding, guys. And now you can see still now upper Bollinger Band expanded up to 1083. So if it wants to go, it can go up to that price or possibly even 1100. Now I said it before, I played it right here when this thing had that pullback down to 1000. It was fantastic, and now no way of chasing this. They're always supported 1029 5-day moving average and the previous high. Underneath that level, you're going to see a flush down here at 1008 and then flat 1000. If this thing cracks under 1000 at some point, you're going to see significant selling right here on Netflix. This is another stock that is getting extremely overbought and just continues to move even higher. Now, we're trading into blue skies. So like I said, if this thing wants to move higher, there is no volume shelf here, nothing going on. It can continue all the way up to this high 1064.50, over that 1083.85, and maybe even 1100. On Nvidia stock, it's up 2.63%. So here's another name that is actually helping the market to push even higher to all-time highs. Nvidia, guys, I mean, this thing is unstoppable. Just when this dip came in, I bought right here, then I bought more right here, and guess what? Every shares that I bought all paid, calls that I bought all paid, and still holding only 100 shares of Nvidia, targeting this gap to the upside. And I think there is earnings coming up also within just a matter of a few days. So Nvidia, definitely, I think it can get up to 142 to close this gap, and over that there will be a retest of the resistance here at 144.56 for next week. Now it's trading over 136, so definitely that's going to be your key line in the sand. Only if that breaks. I mean, yes, we're kind of forming this rising wedge, but you know, I don't want to get too bearish here on Nvidia stock, and there is a reason because this thing has the potential, and you can see every time Nvidia comes down, what happens? Well, this thing goes right back up. So you can see, I mean, yes, we're kind of forming this rising wedge pattern, but there is no confirmation of a breakdown. You can see it just going up, right? We get a pullback and then it recovers and goes right back up. So Nvidia, if this thing wants to continue, it can. Only if there is a bad catalyst, something happens. You guys saw that VIX calls came in, and another Warren Buffett, guys, forgot to mention that one. Sold all his positions on S&P 500. Sold everything. He's completely out 100% from S&P 500. So, you know, I'm not saying that just because he sold, market is going to crash. That's not my message here. Like, we all know the guy has so many years of experience, and why is he selling everything? Lots of things, he's selling and just piling on cash. Now when a recession or some big crashes happen, we will see it in the price section. There will be a daily, weekly downtrend. You're going to see it, but these people, they can see it before us. We retail traders, investors, we always misread the market. We think, oh, it's all too bullish. I'm just gonna go all in. How many times we've been there, like all in, and then things goes the opposite direction, and then you lose everything, right? So they're smart. There is a reason why he's cashing out at all-time highs and piling on cash. What is the next dip he's looking for where he's going to buy? And there were a lot of calls coming in, I think, for crude oils, 150, something like that. So, and then he's on, a lot of these energy names. So he knows exactly what is coming and when that might be coming. We all know that inflation numbers are really bad. Jay Powell cannot cut rates. Then on top of that, we got Trump's tariff. It's in effect in a lot of places. Some of them he's holding on, but it's gonna be out there at some point. And people are getting actually, especially producers, people that are producing food and all kinds of stuff. They already know, like, we have to raise prices. So if they're raising prices and they're putting that price on consumers, us, inflation is going to go up even more. And not to mention, like, eggs are worth more than gold right now. So, things are not looking good, and the market just shrugs everything off. Big names like Nvidia kept going up. We got Apple, bad earnings, Microsoft, bad earnings, you name it. Google dumped, right? Amazon, some earnings may be okay, but from these big companies, they're not, having really good time. And dip buyers, or I would say whales, or the market makers, they would just continue to buy that dip and push things higher. So be careful going into next week. Now, Nvidia, if we get under 136, then there is expectation for a drop, possibly down to 130, and then we can talk about maybe this rising wedge can play out at some point. So watch out, be careful going into next week, and I'll definitely keep you guys updated going into Tuesday night. But don't forget to hit that like button, guys. These videos take a lot of my time, and that's the only way, I see some appreciation from you guys, and a lot of you guys do, and I thank you for that. And, that would be greatly appreciated to get, some more likes from you guys and some comments. Thank you, and have a great weekend, everybody.